Only a jerk would make a video about 4 reasons you should not get a fountain pen and not follow it up with a video on why you should get one. I'm not going to be him. I'm sorry I can't hear you over how awesome my national championship shirt is. So, no surprise to you, my battery's half dead. Apparently in the last video when my battery died, I forgot to put it on the charger. So we might just switch the battery out halfway through this, or maybe I can just talk fast. Welcome back to Stormin' Norman Says. I'm Stormin' Norman. Must mean I have something to say. You might like it, you might not. I'm sitting out. Really didn't have no intention on making this video, but I'm sitting there like, told the people 4 reasons why they shouldn't. Okay, not why they shouldn't. 4 reasons why they might consider not getting a fountain pen. I thought we should follow it up with 4 reasons why you should. 4 reasons that I came up with 5 minutes ago. Because that's how I roll. I'm like, I want to make this video. I'm like, let's just make it now. And I just come up with 4 reasons, wrote them on the dry erase board right here. I think they're good reasons. First reason, history.
Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
History. You look at pens we got today. Do they look elegant? Do they look like, anything special? Not really. But we're going to get to that again later. But you look back in history, famous writers. Now, a lot of people these days, they don't care about history. They're not cool. They don't have that, longing for a simpler time, so to speak. Our culture is all technology and what can you do for me right now, this second? I want it right now. But you look back in history at some of the, famous events in history, famous documents that were signed. I was going to say Declaration of Independence, but I was thinking about it on my way home. That was probably like a quill, but same principle. But you look back at famous documents that have been, like maybe when Japan surrendered on the deck of the USS Missouri. Maybe they used a fountain pen. I don't know. I bet they did because they're Japanese. Fountain pens have a place in history. They were once, back in the day, there were no ballpoint pens and there were no gel pens and all that stuff. And people would get a fountain pen and they would use that pen. What was I listening to? A podcast, Pen Addict podcast, I believe. Not this week's, but last week's. And he was interviewing this girl that's a nib grinder. And she was talking about this pen she has. It's like 80 years old. A fountain pen. It's like 80 years old. And she's like, one of the things I like about it is who knows what was written with this pen. Like, whoever got this pen probably paid, a substantial amount of money for it in that day and used that pen for their whole life. Who knows what that pen has seen if it could talk. So history being one reason why you might want to consider getting a fountain pen. They're just historical looking. They just look important. Number 2, one and done.
I want all of you forever.
One and done. So you might be thinking, if you're somebody watching my channel, you're probably into pens and stationery and such. Even though that was not my point in making this channel. That's kind of what it's turned into. You buy a pen nowadays, whatever this is, G2, buy a pack of these, you use it when it runs out of ink, or you lose it. Which is probably, most of the time, you probably lose it before it runs out of ink. No big deal, toss it aside, grab you another one, off to the races. But it's plastic, it's got rubber on it. Sure, it's pretty comfortable to hold, I ain't gonna lie to you. Plastic clip, everything on it is plastic, probably, except the spring. You buy a fountain pen, that's not the case. Metal, clip, metal, nib, metal, the feed is plastic. There's probably a plastic liner in there, the converter's plastic, but for the most part it's metal. When you run out of ink, you clean it out, fill it back up again. Or you don't clean it out. If you're using black ink, you run out of black ink, you're going to put black ink back in it, don't even bother. Just fill it back up with black ink. I don't recommend doing that forever, but it'll get you by for a while. And you can use this pen for years. Like, say you get a fountain pen and you don't get the bug that the rest of us have, where we just have to keep buying fountain pens like, oh, I like that one. Trust me, I was just watching Feed Your Creativity channel, and she was at the Atlanta Pen Show that just happened last week, and I'm thinking about going to the Orlando Pen Show. Not sure yet, still mulling it over, and I'm like looking at all the pens that she's looking at, and I'm like, I would want to buy all of them, and they're expensive. Like the ones there, some of them, like $375 pen. Like, I want it. Get off that subject for a minute. But you could buy this pen, $20 probably, and use this pen for decades. And all you got to do is replace the ink. And fountain pen ink, like this Pelikan ink that I showed before, that I originally got, was, I don't know, $10 a bottle. It was cheap because it's like cheap ink. I just bought, we're going to talk about it in a future video, I just bought a bottle of Robert Oster ink for $19. And that bottle will probably last me for a long time, a real long time. So, if you're, some people are all concerned about their carbon footprint and whatnot, and doing things that are sustainable to the planet and all that stuff. Don't get no better than this. Metal pen, clean it out, put ink in it, keep on going. Number 3, slow down.
Whoa, slow down, hold on there.
Slow down. So, like I said, the world we live in today is all about now. Like, I want it now. I want this, give it to me now. I need to do this, I need to do it right now. Get it done, taken care of. Things that take time have fallen by the wayside. That's why people don't really journal anymore. Like we watch, like I do, I'm sure you do too, watch YouTube channels where people are talking about journaling. And like Colin, if y'all watch Simply Colin, he's always talking about journaling. And we see the value in it, but the majority of our society does not see the value in journaling. And that's why we're messed up. We're going to talk about that in a future video. A fountain pen and some paper, and we're going to talk about fountain pen paper also in another video. Someone suggested it in the comments. Fountain pen, some good paper to write on. You got to slow down. Like, I've been writing in my poetry notebook this week. By the way, I got a new setup for it as well. Y'all remember I showed y'all this? I gave away the other two, but I kept this one. So I took and put my poetry notebook in here and my notebook for the book I'm writing. But I was writing in here today, and like I do every time with a fountain pen, and I don't want my ink to dry out, because if you keep the cap off of this for too long, your ink will dry out. I don't want that to happen. So whenever I'm writing a poem and I get to a line and I'm trying to think of like what's my next line going to be, I'll take my pen, cap it, and put it down on the table while I think about what my other line's going to be. So it makes me slow down and think about what I'm writing, so that what I'm writing is something worth writing. But we live in a world today where it's just like go, go, go. And the older I get, maybe you're older as well, the older I get, the more I want to throw this thing out the window, because it annoys me. Especially when it goes off when I'm on my way home from work, listening, jamming out some music, because I have about a 40-minute ride home from work. And I'm jamming out to my music, probably singing along, and the stupid thing goes off, which makes my music pause. I turned down the volume, but I got a phone call on the way home from work today, and it shut my music off, and I'm like, that really aggravates me. I want to throw this out the window. but you gotta have one. Just the way it is these days. But like I said, we need to learn to slow down. Slow down. Get all your thoughts that are causing you so many problems because they're just jumbled up in your head and you're overthinking stuff. Get you some paper, notebook, whatever. Get you something to write on. Get you a fountain pen. Slow down. Just let it flow from your brain, down your arm, through your fingers, and out the nib onto the paper. So a fountain pen will help you to slow down. And we all need that. Number 4, we might get through this without me having to change my battery. They're unique.
They're all different.
Why do you think we have so many of them? If you ever watch a fountain pen person do a video talking about fountain pens like I'm doing right now, they're unique. You see, like, you buy a 12-pack of these, you know what you got? 12 pens that look exactly like this one. There's nothing, like, as this pen writes well, it's not ugly. I'm not going to tell you it's ugly. I mean, but it ain't as pretty as a fountain pen. They all look the same. And you know what else they look like? The other person who has a dozen of them that's using them as well. There's nothing stands out. You know, there's nothing unique. You know, ever since I was a kid, and I was watching Stuff and Things channel a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about this as well. So maybe it's just an age thing, because he's like the same age as me, roundabout. But even when I was a kid, if everybody was into something, that made me not want to like it. And I'm still the same way today. If everybody is into something, whether it be like a musical artist or whatever, a movie, a TV show, if everybody, it seems like everybody's into it, like, I'm good. Like, I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't know why I'm that way. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's how it is. But I like to go my own way. I like to say, hey, I like this, and I'm going to go that route instead of, well, I like this, but everybody else doesn't like it, so I'm just going to go with what they say. I don't like that. And I wear a kilt. I've told y'all, every Friday to work. You know, people laugh at you. People's like, they don't understand. Why are you wearing a kilt? Why are you wearing a skirt? Blah, blah, blah. Because they don't understand it. Because they are of the mindset, well, society has told me that I have to dress like this. So anybody who's not dressed like this, I have to, you know, something's wrong with them. But I don't mean to get all deep and philosophical. We're talking about fountain pens here. But they're unique. They're unique. They don't all look alike. Like, technically they do, because they all have a nib with a similar shape, for the most part, you know. Where did all my fountain pens go? But they're like, see, this one is metal, got a typical looking clip on it, black. This one is gray, plastic body with a metal clip on it, with that weird Lamy grip that some people can't stand. I like it. Most people don't like it. What else we got here? The Muji is aluminum with that clip, which kind of sucks. Little tiny nib on there. Probably stainless steel is my guess. Unique. They don't look the same. You don't buy a 12-pack of these. Well, maybe you could. I don't know how they sell them. But you don't buy a 12-pack of these and then have 12 pens that look exactly the same. You buy one and you're like, that pen is unique. That pen is a reflection of my personality. And then you use it, and like I said, you can use it for decades. So that's 4 reasons you should own a fountain pen. And I know some people in the comments, the last video, were talking about some reasons why you should own one. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, one person was talking about the variety of ink you can get. That could probably be a turnoff for some people. Like, having all that choice and options. Like, whatever color ink you can think of. See this new hat I got today? I bet you I could find a purple that matches that. I bet you could. But any color ink you can think of, I bet you can find. I didn't even look too hard for that Robert Oster I was looking for the other day. I wanted something that would match this. And I found something That was pretty close, at least in the pictures on the computer. What's that? That's the pen we're going to talk about later. And I'm going to tell the story of me and Robert Oster because we go way back, which is kind of a funny story. But that's 4 reasons you'd think about maybe I should get into this fountain pen thing. That's 4 reasons you should. Go look at the other video if you want 4 reasons why you shouldn't. And see which one trumps the other. You know, do like Chandler did to Rachel. Make a pros and cons list. So, like I said in the last one, get you a fountain pen. Start off with a cheap one. Give it a shot. You'll probably like it. It writes smooth. I know gel inks are smooth and that's why people like them because they write so smooth. But there's just something about watching the tip of that nib go across the paper and leave ink behind. Good stuff. So there you go. I got the video done before the battery died. I have another video I have to edit. So we're going to get out of here. And there's like something on my screen. Oh, the camera's getting hot. Okay, I got you. Probably should turn the fan on. Anyway, I've been Stormin' Norman. I have said things. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Baby, you gotta let me know. Should I stay or should I go now?